When I go through and work with businesses, what I do is I talk about an eyesore. Seppo will explain to you. In England, sore is a play on words. We have another word that sounds the same, S-O-R-E, which means something that is painful. So what we're saying is it something that I saw, or is it something that I saw that is painful? It's a deliberate play on words. So we look at what happens when the person who wants to look at the Porsche picks up the phone. Perhaps, before they even go that, they look at the website and say, where can I find the phone number? Is on your website a big telephone number easy to find? Because research shows that over 60% of the people who look at the website for the first time are looking for your telephone number. So how easy do you make it for them to contact you, to find out information about you? They get the information and they ring you up. How good is your telephone? How good are you at answering that telephone? How good are your team? Because however brilliant you are, you're only as strong as the weakest member of your team. Remember the analogy of a chain, the example of a chain. The chain is strong. It's full of great people. But if you put enough pressure, one of those links will go. And that's the weakest link in the chain. And so with your team. However strong you are, there's one member that will go first. The challenge is to make sure that that chain link is not too weak. Is that person answer the phone? Do they answer the phone properly? Let's assume they do. They come in and they visit you. What do they see first? This is through the eyes of a prospective customer, not through the eyes of somebody who works in the business. Do they see something that you'd be proud of? Or do they see something that maybe you might be embarrassed by? That the outside of the building is looking a bit tired. That the office van, the factory van, is looking, it's got mud all over it. We heard Leslie talking about the corporate image that's part of the personal brand and the corporate brand. Do they match each other? When they come into the office, come into your factory, come into your workshop, what is the most important room in your working place that you want to make sure is right for your customers to visit? Lobby. Maybe? What else? It's important, because that's first impressions. Toilets. Thank you very much. Who said that? Gentleman from Mahan Airways. So important. Thank you, sir. What we as human beings decide, thank you very much, what we as human beings decide is if you can't take the trouble to make your toilets acceptable for your team, let alone your customers, what on earth is the rest of your service going to be like? What's that got to do with what you produce? What's that got to do with your service? But the way the human being works, the way the human mind works, that is so important. If I came into your workplace, would your toilets be acceptable? I could go on. We were walking down the streets of Tehran the other day. This is my camera assistant, Mr. Jeef, taking a picture of a car dealership at car level. So you're sitting there in your car in the normal traffic jam in Tehran, and you're looking, and you've got a car dealership, and you can't see it. If before the snow we walked down, and we were amazed to find that in the flower bed outside were weeds. So they hadn't had time to take the trouble to put the weeds. Now I hope nobody from Mercedes is here, But if they are, I don't mean to embarrass you, but what it said to me was, if they don't care about the front of their display, I wonder what else it says about the care they're going to give to me as a customer. So in the snow, we went and took that movie picture. We walked just up the road, and we saw something different. So we could see it at eye level. And we saw them earlier that day. How did they get a car up to that level? They took a lot of trouble to get some ramps set up so they can get the demonstrator cars up there, so that people who were in the traffic jam could see something displayed amazingly well. Even Jeff took a picture of the policeman without the policeman knowing, and then just went like that when the policeman turned round, so he couldn't see what he was doing. Because we went into a shopping mall the other day, and we were told, you can't take pictures. We didn't know that. And that's the problem. But we wanted to take pictures to demonstrate the point. It's all about little small things that make a difference to the people, the way they perceive your business. Perception is all the little small things. They're not big things. It's you, your team, what we call your visibles, all your brochures, all your display, but also your invisibles, the way you answer your phone. And we heard about perception from George. The perceived value is bigger than the actual value. The total value is the actual value plus the perceived value. So it's so important. Let me tell you, the first thing when somebody contacts you as a new customer or a prospect is, how are they welcomed? This is a hotel in Borneo, the Razaria Hotel in Kinabalu, Kota Kinabalu in Borneo. A 5-star hotel, and their system, let me explain it to you. They have somebody waiting all the time outside to see for any taxis or any cars who are approaching. They then pass a message as soon as they see somebody, and this lady, who's on the lookout, passes a message to one of her colleagues. Her colleague then goes up to a big gong, bong. As soon as the bong goes, her colleague, ding dong 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 ding dong 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 dong, starts playing music as the guest walks up the stairs and is welcomed by reception. Is welcomed by reception. Not has to walk to reception. Somebody comes out because they've heard bong. A system starts. And they get welcomed, and they get met at the top of the stairs. And they get taken to these chairs in the middle. And they sit down, and somebody comes and gives you a cold towel so you can wipe your brow, because it's hot and humid. And then somebody else comes with a cool drink. Wow, I must be special. Everybody who arrives gets the same treatment. That is their system. And it carried on like that. It's a 5-star hotel. It was fantastic. I got to my room, and that's what I found in the bathroom. It's a towel, but it's an orchid. It's just an orchid. But what does it say to you? A soft, fluffy towel and an orchid. We care about you. Thank you. We care about you. Have you got any greeting systems? This costs no money. This is training to look after your prospects and make them feel special. George was telling you how to make people feel special. Do you have systems that if you are not there, you are all here today, are your team, if your businesses are working, are your team looking after your prospects the way you would want them to work, the way you would look after the prospects? Do you have a system to make sure there's some consistency? They even left me a present. I came back in the evening of the second day, and I found a parcel on my bed. I didn't know what it was. It was from Shangri-La Razaria Resort, Kota Kinabalu, room 338. I opened it up all excitedly, and it was my shirt. They'd done some laundry, but they'd taken the trouble to give me a present and put it in a parcel. It's absolutely fantastic. In my hotel in Tehran, I was impressed. I got a bag full of my laundry, And it was all pressed, it was in silver, in cellophane, and they've got card behind it to make it nice. And then I opened up the bag, and I found somebody else's socks in there. They try so hard. I then got out my socks, and they shrunk. You try so hard to get it right, and then it's the little small things that suddenly say, oh, maybe they're not as good as you think they are. Do you have systems to look after the little small things? Jan Carlson from Scandinavian Airlines, SAS, a very old book, Moments of Truth, talked about, in his airline, if the passenger gets on and pulls down the tray and there's coffee stain on the tray, what must my engines be like? It's got nothing to do with the engines. But if it can't be bothered to have the attendants to clean the tray for the previous passenger to wipe up the coffee, those little small things say a lot about how you think about your customers and your prospects.